Hey guys, straight back into another week then, and onto the S14 to start with, I think. So we need to make some more progress on this one. It's been here long enough. I really want to get this one painted this week if I can. This coming week is Saturday today. I think that might be a bit unrealistic, but we will see what we can do. So the main body prep on this one, as some of you guys might remember, is pretty much done, to be fair. Yeah, main body prep's done. I've got to take this, well, I've got to take both doors off, but this door needs to come off as well because because it's just rippled and wavy at the front there. So we're either going to poly it, or I'll just give it a quick skim of glaze and block the whole thing down. Not sure yet, we'll see how we go. I don't think it needs poly, to be fair, because these Jap cars, they're not exactly built the straightest and flattest anyway. Obviously I'm not going to leave those waves and ripples in there, but I don't know, I think poly might be taking it one step too far for what the job's in for. I think we're already doing way over the top of what we should be on this one, really, but it's for the love of the job. So yeah, first job on this one, get the body kit parts back on. Not sure if I'm going to bolt them on properly or just put them on loosely, we will see, and then sand down the poly which is on the fiberglass body parts. Go from there, really. As always, just talking through things in my head as I'm speaking to you guys, but yeah, body kit back on, block that down, and then we'll see what the next stage is after that. So body kit is back on as much as I need it to be, and straight away I am so conflicted about these side skirts again in terms of what I want to do about them going forwards. So some of you who've been following this from the start will have seen how much work we've put into these side skirts already, and the whole aim on these has always been to have them as a removable piece. As the front and rear bumpers are. So front bumper I've managed to add a few more attachments here. Obviously it's not on at the moment, but there's a few more attachments there than standard, but essentially bolt on, bolt off. Rear bumper, we've used the original hardware that came from the old bumper, so that again is bolt on, bolt off. Side skirts currently are bolt on, bolt off. We've done a lot of work about making all of these sections fit as well as I possibly can make them. So there's a big gap down here, there's an enormous gap here under a lot of stress and everything, but every single time we come to put them back on the car after we've done any sort of filling work whatsoever, they seem to change ever so slightly. So there's a very, very small amount of, we can get that on easily. My next thought process behind this is I can easily seal that on, no issues, and then they are effectively, if anyone really needed to take them off in the future, it can still be done, obviously with a bit of sealant. Just get a blade in there and remove the screws, get a blade in there and remove them if need be. But my thought process behind these, because this fiberglass is such poor quality, it's so flimsy, and we are using our highest end clear coat on this car, which does require a long bake cycle. I say long, it's a half an hour bake cycle at 70 degrees. And my concern with these skirts is if I paint them off the car and bake them for half an hour at 70 degrees, I'm almost positive, unfortunately, with the quality of these fiberglass skirts, I think they're going to change drastically again. So I am now thinking, despite the amount of work and effort that we've put into getting them to fit as well as we possibly can, bolt on, bolt off like this, I'm thinking what we're going to do is seal them onto the car and paint them at the same time as the body. So I can seal them on easily enough. I can use the bolt holes that we've already got to effectively mechanically squeeze it into position when the sealant is curing, and then obviously I can remove all the bolts if I need to, or fill them in, or use them as an additional backup as well. I'm not sure yet, but regardless, I think my concern with this one now is if I paint the parts off the car, which is what I want to do, I think after the bake cycle, putting them back on the car, I just think they're going to be really warped. I don't think they'll fit again, to be honest. That's my concern in any case. And then we'll be back to square one again. So yeah, bolt on, bolt off for all the other parts, front and rear bumper, spoiler, etc. I think the side skirts are going to have to become an integral part of the car. I'm not going to necessarily bond them on or do a seamless sort of look like we did with the XJS Hypersport. That's what that car was designed to be. Don't necessarily need to do that because, like I said, we have spent a lot of time getting these to fit really nice. They are flush, well they will be. I can easily, press that up against the car. Same with the front end. It all fits as it should. It's just I don't trust them that they're not going to warp when we bake them. So yeah, again, thinking out loud, but I think I'm going to have to seal them onto the car properly and paint them when they are on the car as well, which is not really what I wanted to do. I might run a tiny bead of sealant around the top edge there just to give it a kind of a bit of a flush fit, sort of molded effect, but not going to the extent of actually fiberglassing it on there. We'll see. That's the thought process at the moment. That's the only thing I'm concerned with on this one. Everything else, plain sailing now. But I am slightly concerned with those, just again, because it's poor quality fiberglass. That's the only reason. If this was good quality fiberglass kit, nice and thick, we wouldn't have any issues. But I think, don't trust it. So it'd be a shame to let all this work be wasted at this stage. We'll see. Initial block down done on the poly, on the side skirts and rear bumper. So it looks quite patchy at the moment. Normally, when we block down poly, we'd stop when we get to a different substrate. In this instance, we only stop when we get through to the bare fiberglass underneath. So this can act like a metal, if it was a metal panel instead, or that's how you can consider it. Because basically the white is just a gel coat, so it still sands down at the same rate as the spray poly, slightly differently, but it won't be wavy or patchy. So yeah, although it looks quite odd at the moment, we can get away with sanding out the low spots and just keep sanding basically. We have had to fill a couple of small sections there with a bit of glaze, as you can see, but that should be quite nice and straight now. So next thing, bumper back off, reprime these areas on both quarters, finish off obviously the tidying up on the edges on the body kit parts, and then I think we'll get the main car ready for prep. Hey guys, it's been a bit of a while since I've had a catch up with you, let you know what we're up to. So I think you would have seen in the previous videos, Kayla's been in for a couple of days helping us out. We've bare metaled the doors and the boot section on the CSI, and that is now an epoxy. So it's a different formulation. We've gone for a different formulation of epoxy this time actually. So it's a very, very similar. It's the Novel for Classic system still, but it's a hybrid epoxy, 4:1 again, so really thick stuff. Gives absolutely superb corrosion resistance, and you'll see in probably the next clip, or one of the next few clips, one of the fantastic things about that, again, going into too much detail, but one of the fantastic things about that is it has an extremely long open window, so we don't need to sand it. We can just spray that epoxy on. It's got to sit there for 24 hours, I believe, on the TDS. Got to check. So basically overnight, and then we can just go straight on with the filler. So no more scuffing, no more sanding, straight on with the filler work. And that leaves the thickest build of epoxy that we can possibly have on there, which is obviously giving us the best corrosion resistance as well. And then obviously it's the filler which gets sanded down rather than the epoxy base. So yeah, really good system. Gives us a nice layer of protection there. So that'll be back on, hopefully back onto the BMW tomorrow. We have had a few issues, unfortunately, this week with our compressor. So our compressor, I'm not going to show it now because it's a bit of a mess back there, but our compressor obviously powers the entire shop. We've got air lines going through to for the 3 units at the least, and we sometimes use the 4th as well. But yeah, it powers the entire shop basically. Compressor sadly has gone down at the moment, so we are waiting for that to be fixed. It's still usable to a point, but it can't be used for the larger jobs such as this. So sadly, I was planning on getting this one painted this week, and we could have done it, the body at least. We could have pushed for getting that done tomorrow. Unfortunately, with the compressor situation, it's just not worth the risk. So it has set us back a little bit. So we've not had the most productive week that we could have, but never mind. Anyway, we'll still crack on, keep going on with the body prep and everything. So I think I said previously about the side skirts. As you can see, I have decided to bond them on. They've all been re-prepped, bonded on at the front, along the edges there. We've filled in the holes that were along the top edge there because they're not needed anymore. Bonded them in on the rear as well. 2 bolts, front and rear, so 4 bolts total, and then all sealed on. So it's not going anywhere, and it's going to be the best way of doing this one so that it won't warp. Won't have any potential for this section here to come away from the car after it's been painted, after it's been baked. That's what I was worried about. So as you can see, we've got a nice tight fit on there at the moment. It looks a bit strange because obviously it's broken through the primer on the very, very top edge ever so slightly. You've got a bit of sealant splodging out onto the other side there as well. So it has a bit of a strange look to it at the moment, but I guarantee you that's how I want it at the moment. So we will run a very small bead of sealant just along the top edges, just to kind of blend it in a little bit better. It's going to give the best looking effects that we can possibly have on this one. So yeah, with the compressor issues, I'm not sure exactly what we're going to be doing tomorrow, but we will be probably working on both this and the CSI for the remainder of the week. Obviously alongside the general everyday repairs that I get coming in as well, which I don't normally show on the channel. But yeah, just a quick check-in guys to show you what we're up to, show you how we've progressed on the larger projects. Coming along really nicely. So this one is not far away from paint now. Yeah, looking forward to it. Really looking forward to painting this one. It's been a while. All right, so quick check-in at the end of the week as always. You've seen in the previous clips we have got the epoxy work done on the doors and boots of the CSI. So we've put them back on the car now, gapped it up as best as I can. having a few issues getting the doors to line up and fit and everything, but we have done that as best as I possibly can at this stage. Filler is on there again. I think I said in previous clips, it's just to keep the open window there so we don't have to scuff up the panels again. We can just put that filler on, even if I'm not sanding it straight away, it's on there now. If I'd left it for a little while, actually we've got 7 days to work with, but if I had left it for a while without putting filler on, then we would have to rescuff, and the chemical adhesion just isn't there as good as it possibly could be, so it's just better to do it this way round, even though I know I'm not necessarily going to be blocking these doors down just yet, because at the moment we're working on the front end still. Excuse the mess. Enzo's been having a field day. I've got the shutters down at the moment. It's dark out again, late. So yeah, working on the front end at the moment. Hopefully seen that the front end is coming along really quite nicely actually compared to how it was. A few low spots on the top end still. Currently working on just blending this bib into the main body, and then I will be working on a seamless mould for the fiberglass bottom bib. So we're going to do this one for the customer. This is all going to be seamless. This blended into that, blended into that. It's all going to be a seamless join. That's how he wants this one. No front bumper on this one. So the look that we're going for here is essentially what this one's going to be. It's just going to have blended joints all around. And then it is going to continue the chrome trim going along the edges like they normally do. Chrome rear bumper, chrome trim around the back as well, as per usual. So yeah, it's going to look really nice this one when it's done, hopefully. Keep cracking on and see how we go. The Nissan, like I said in the previous clip as well, is ready to go pretty much. We've just got the final scuff down and masking up and everything to do, just waiting on the compressor, but that will be painted next week. Yeah, busy week again next week. Catch you guys then.